Welcome back to Books, Blush, and Brain Rot, featuring Freya, who needed her mommy today, so she's in the satchel of comfort. This week's book was Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. The last couple chapters had so many neck breaking moments, I didn't know where to go. Towards the end, I felt like people were getting a little whiny. I felt like the monologues of the characters were just really long, but we'll get into it all. Let's dissect from top to bottom while we do our makeup and hold our cat. Mommy has to work, you know what I mean? Are you gonna be okay? How am I gonna do this and do my makeup and hold her? The book opens with our main characters, which are a married couple named Amelia and Adam. They are on the way to a cabin in Scotland. They are going away for the weekend. Amelia has won this trip through an auction at her job. She works at Battersea Dogs Home, rescuing dogs. She's a huge advocate for dogs and interviewing people and making sure that they go to the right homes and whatnot. She sounds like a great person. Her husband, Adam, is a screenwriter. He adapts authors' novels into movies, and he's a well-known screenwriter. He has a condition, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm gonna put it on the screen. He can't recognize faces. They're like a swirl to him. He struggles with it. He does have to judge people off of their inner beauty a lot more because he can't see them. Where are you going, honey? You little acrobat girl? Go down in there. Him and Amelia are driving to this getaway for their anniversary because they want to save their marriage. That's kind of where we're at right now. They feel like they've hit a weird plateau in their marriage. We're getting both point of views, both perspectives. We're getting Amelia's, and then we're jumping back and forth from Amelia to Adam. Both of them seem to think that the other one is not going to come back from this trip. So right off the bat, we're already led to believe that one of them is plotting something against the other one, which is kind of wild. Right off the bat, we're already plotting each other's deaths or disappearances. Amelia kind of makes comments in the beginning, we're getting her inner monologue about how because Adam is a screenwriter, he is just always he's always reading books, he's always trying to impress people at these big fancy parties. He's obsessed with a really well-known author named Henry, what's his last name? Adam was able to adapt a few of his novels. That's kind of what jump-started Adam's career. Now, Adam does have a screenplay of his own that he's been working on called Rock, Paper, Scissors, and this gets mentioned a lot. Amelia is kind of saying Adam, because he's so obsessed with this guy Henry and impressing him and getting the next big thing and getting his screen novel turned into a movie, and he needs this guy Henry's help. He's just so obsessed with that, and he's so obsessed with working, and he's always reading, and he's always escaping into fiction, and she's kind of over that. To cut new lashes. Both Amelia and Adam already start having weird thoughts to themselves. Both were saying that they weren't being truthful with each other. We get this other point of view, anniversary letters that are being written to Adam from his wife. We learn about his backstory is what we're learning about, and the backstory in their marriage. A really good example of the back and forth and how things are coming out. She talks about in one of the letters how Adam proposed, and it was using their dog Bob, who's a rescue dog from Battersea. Towards the end of the book, comes out that there was an affair with a co-worker from Battersea, right? They go to this creepy chapel that does not look like it should be a place where people would stay. Creepy things happen immediately. Amelia says, there was a housekeeper, that's who I've been in contact with. And Adam is okay. The door is closed, and then all of a sudden it's open. It's shit like that is happening. And Amelia hears a paranormal presence she thinks calling her name. There's apparently a bunch of tales about this church, and it's haunted. And she sees a face outside the window staring in at them. We're also learning more about their marriage. Amelia is talking about how Adam hasn't been super affectionate with her lately, lovey-dovey with her, hasn't been she just feels they need more spark in their marriage. He kind of is saying the same thing, but he's also saying, oh my god, this part annoyed me. Adam pretty much describes his wife as being annoying. Damn, like he's annoyed by his own fucking wife. That's crazy. If you're annoyed by your own wife, then you shouldn't be married to them. So we're getting these anniversary letters, and in the anniversary letters, you're kind of getting this backstory of like their marriage, and you're like, oh, it's probably this is probably why it's so bad. Because as the years go by, it's like Amelia loved Adam so much, but he seems like he's so focused on his career, and he doesn't see that, you know, his life is kind of slipping away from him. Amelia kind of sounds like she starts to resent him because, going back to Henry Winter, Adam's obsessed with him, right? And because Adam can't recognize faces, he always brings Amelia to these like big, huge parties where all these celebrities and screenwriters and whatever go. And he brings her because he needs her to tell her who the people are because he doesn't recognize them. One night they go to this party and Henry Winter is there, but Amelia's so sick of like hearing him talk about him that she like doesn't tell him that he's standing right there. We learn about this through an anniversary letter, right? Oh, so she doesn't want him to succeed? It sounded like she just had enough. He just wasn't the guy that she thought she married. Adam's mom died when he was very young, and she actually died and Adam watched her die. He watched a car hit her and kill her while she was walking his dog. Okay. Adam obviously has been struggling with this his whole life. So Amelia, being the loving, doting wife, is like, oh my God, like let's write down these nightmares because Adam is like haunted by this, you know? Hold while I fan. She never really explains her game plan. She kind of just like says, let's write it down, which I guess the reader leaves us to assume that she's doing that so that maybe he can piece together who the driver is, because he can see the driver. He says he saw the driver, but he can't remember her face. And I guess it turned out to be like a young girl, but he was never able to identify her in a lineup, so the person was never caught, and it was a hit and run. So in the dream, there's a moment where he's in the car and he's with Amelia and they're driving, and Amelia's the one driving and screaming at her to slow down, and she doesn't, and then they like barrel right into his mom. Whilst we're learning about them and their past and all that, we're also getting the perspective from someone named Robin. Robin sounds like a weirdo in the woods. She has a pet rabbit that she feeds baby food to, which isn't weird, I guess. My whole like thing is animals, so it's silly of me to be like, that's weird. The way she's described, it's like she's wearing the same clothes, she doesn't like going out, she doesn't like talking to people. She's not very like super friendly with the people in the outside world. Like she's just kind of here. And then we find out she's actually the one that's been staring in at Adam and Amelia. Like she's literally been stalking them and like letting them into the church, and she's the one that got them there. She's the one that let them into the church. She's the one that's been staying at the church. She stays in a cottage that's like right near the church. At one point, Adam actually discovers her little cottage and tries to look in, and he's like, oh, it's like there's like a witch in there. And they get even more scared. There's also a part with a bell tower incident. So they're out on like the bell tower, they're hanging out, they're having a great time, they're like kind of getting like, you know, romantic as a couple. They're trying to rekindle their marriage. That's what this whole thing is about. Adam ends up almost like falling off of it, and Amelia low-key doesn't try to save him. And he kind of is like, why the fuck didn't she save me? And his monologue towards her like starts to just get like so crazy. I would hate to have a husband that hated me that much. Like he just doesn't sound like he likes this bitch at all. And then every time that he's talking about something he's done, he's like, but I know she's done worse. I know she's done worse. My wife doesn't do this. My wife doesn't do that. Like I might not be the best husband, but she's not the best wife. Like she has secrets too. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Jesus criminy. Amelia's like, I just want to save our marriage. We're going to get into the twists. The place where they're at turns out to be Henry Winter's house. And then they find the secret room that has all of Henry's books and novels and stuff that he's written over the years. They also find out, oh my God, he's dead. They didn't know that. Nobody knew that. Kept a secret from the world. I wonder why. We find this out because when they went to go find, so Bob goes missing, the dog, and they're like, oh fuck, we gotta find Bob. So in their hunt to find Bob, they stumble upon obviously the cemetery that there is outside, and they see a fairly new headstone. So they both take a little peek. Oh my God, it's Henry Winter. They're like, wait a second. Neither of us knew that Henry Winter was dead. That's crazy. A huge deal for Adam because he never got his screenplay public made, like his novel into a screenplay. He never got it because fucking Henry didn't read it and he didn't recommend it. Then that's when they go back inside. Everything's been like touched and opened. Oh, that's the other thing. Everything looks exactly like their house. Like everything's been decorated to look eerily similar to their house back in London. If I went to a hotel and it looked just like my house, I'd be like, okay, well, I think I'm gonna go. Everything's been kind of like touched. All the doors before were locked, but now they're all open. They find a room with all these robins carved, like these robin figures. And they also start to see family pictures. This might have something to do with your ex-wife. And then he goes, what? Robin turns out to not be a weirdo witch in the woods. She's Adam's ex-wife, Adam's first wife. So while you're reading the whole book, you're thinking that these anniversary letters for like 10 years are from Amelia. No, they're from fucking Adam's first wife, Robin, who is also Henry Winter's daughter. No one knew that Henry had a daughter. Adam didn't even know. And he was married to the bitch for 10 years. What? So there's that drop. Henry's dead. His daughter, which no one knew he had a kid, is Robin. Robin has been fucking with Adam and Amelia. She's the whole reason why they're at this abandoned chapel that belongs to her father, which we now know is her father. They're like thinking and they're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. That's when, what's her fucking face? Robin locks them in and she has written a final letter. Okay, and in her final letter to Adam, she's basically like, this would have been our something's anniversary. I want you to choose, like, rock, paper, scissors. Like, in the letter, she's like, rock, you go with Amelia. Paper, you stay with me. Scissors, you don't want to know what scissors is or something crazy like that, right? She has this whole plan. I didn't want anyone to know that I was his daughter. He was not the best father. Saying that she had, like, a really bad childhood and that he, like, cut her hair off. Her mom died when she was young, but she believed that it was her dad that killed her mom. Crazy things, like fucked up shit about her dad, right? And so Adam's like, oh my god. She estranged herself from her dad, and then the only time that she reached out was when she wanted Henry to get work. Adam finds out that the only reason that Henry, her dad, his idol, took him seriously or looked at his work was because of his daughter asking him to. Then, final letter, Adam's reading it because Robin slips it under the door. So Robin locks him in, she slips this letter under the door, and Amelia's like trying to wait for Adam to read it because she's like, all right, well, like, I guess hurry up. We find out basically that, so one of the letters talked about, and this is when I still thought it was Amelia writing the letters, talked about how Adam had cheated on her with a friend, coworker from Battersea, right? She came home one day, found them in bed together. Well, it turns out that Adam, obviously, because these letters are from Robin, so Amelia stole Adam from Robin, okay? She did it on purpose because her and Adam grew up in the same place. This part where like your neck starts to break when you're reading it because you're like, holy fucking shit, there's like so much information being thrown at me right now. Amelia pretty much plotted to take Adam from her because she never wanted it to be found out that she was the one that was driving the car when the mom was killed, when Adam's mom was killed. Remember? The part that was really confusing to me. In the letter, she says Amelia was the one that was driving. Adam's like, okay, well, fuck that bitch. She's like, hey, did you ever, like, he starts confronting her in this church. Like, they're in this church. They're tired. They want to go home. They're like freaking the hell out. Robin has now locked them in. He's now looking at Amelia like, you literally stole my life. He was like down on his luck when he cheated. Amelia, you know, we go into her backstory a little bit, which this was the part to me that I felt like, like I was getting a little bored because everyone was just like whining and having their own monologues, which I know was important to the story, but it was just annoying me. Turns to Amelia, starts confronting her, being like, you killed my mom. I know you did. She's like, what the hell? Like, and she doesn't deny it. She's like, I love you though. Like, I love you. Oh my God. She's like, I just wanted us to be happy. Like, I just wanted us to be happy. And he's like, well, I was never happy with you. She tries to murk him, and I can't find my brush. She tries to murk him because he's like, oh, like, you fucking killed my mom, you dumb bitch. Basically in the letter, Robin's like, okay, well, why do you think that she's making you keep track of all of your nightmares? It's because she doesn't want you to remember, you know, because as soon as you remember, she's going to jail. Like, that's it. But he doesn't have time to react because then as they're like having this confrontation, she turns around and grabs a knife. And so, but it all happens so fast, and Robin is already in there with scissors, and, you know, the rest is history, right? This is the part that was really confusing to me. Adam gets mad that Amelia stole him from Robin, which I'm like, and Amelia also like tried to be Robin. Like she dyed her hair, she changed her clothes, she changed her personality, she worked at the same place. She just was like a weirdo, trying to make him not remember his like past because she doesn't want him to know. But it's like, well, you could have just fucking just stayed away from him and then that probably would have worked out. Adam gets pissed and he confronts Amelia and he's like obviously mad that she took him from his wife, which I'm sorry, but Adam, you're not innocent in this. You're still the one that slept with someone that wasn't your wife. Like, can't really be like, oh, you stole me. Like, no, you were unhappy and you made the choice as well. But anyways, men are stupid. He's all like acting and you're thinking, oh, he's pissed because now he's like, oh, this woman I married is the woman that killed my mom. There's a moment where Adam is talking about how he was the one who was driving the car. Sorry, is he talking about it or is so there's also a PI. If this is your first book blush in brain rot, I commend you for being here because it's brain rot for a reason. We don't plan these. We as me, you know, I'd just be going off of, I read a book and I want to yap about it. This is not for educational purposes. You're not going to learn anything except for if you feel like you want to read this book or not. It's like we're in a little book club together. I can't remember where you find out, but we find out that Adam is the one that was driving the car. So let's go backwards. Let's recap some things, okay? Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Adam. And Adam was hanging out with a girl named Amelia. And I don't know if that was her name at the time, but he was hanging out with this girl. They're both like 13, 14 years old at the time. He's kind of rebelling because his mom would always put on this little red kimono and then she would have male friends over to entertain, and he was so sick of it. So he was like, I'm gonna go rebel against my mother. She convinces him like, let's go for a joyride, and he's like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. You know, 13-year-old behavior, I guess. I don't know. And he is driving the fucking car that kills his mom, but Amelia is like, oh my god, Adam, you dummy. And so she pushes him out of the driver's seat and she gets in the driver's seat and she takes off. Why would she do that? I don't know. I don't think we ever find out why, to be honest. She does that, and then all these years later, she tracks him down, she ends up befriending his now wife. He doesn't recognize Amelia. They end up together. She ends up trying to, I don't know what she's trying to do. I don't know. I think she's trying to get him to remember, maybe. I don't know. Maybe she wanted him to remember because she has guilt, possibly, from the whole thing, and maybe that's what was going on. So she was feeling guilty about it because she knows that she had something to do with it, possibly. Find out that Robin, her dad, Henry Winter, the author, had a PI, and the PI was hired to keep an eye on Robin because they were estranged for so long. And he found out a bunch of shit, and he found out about the affair. He like recounts his time knowing Henry and how they kind of like bonded or whatever and over different things. And he was also a fan of Henry's. He goes to like visit Henry because he hasn't seen him or heard from him because Henry, I guess, like just stopped communicating with him, and he's like, that's just not like him, that's so weird. So he goes to the church to try to find him, and obviously he finds his tombstone and he's like, oh. The investigator named Sam finds Henry's tombstone and he's like, that's strange. And there's like a couple of trinkets on the tombstone. There's a robin, there's a sapphire ring which is attached to a human finger. The sapphire ring was Adam's mom's and they couldn't get it off of Amelia's fat fucking fingers, so they just chopped it off and then put it there. We don't know what they did with her body, but we know where her fucking ring finger is. But he starts hearing the noises in the cemetery and he's like, okay, like people calling his name, like saying his name in the woods and whatever. So I don't know if that was like supposed to be like if it's Adam and Robin like just trying to scare him away because they probably knew this one was gonna come. I don't fucking know. But they're allegedly now living back in London. They are living their best fucking life. So Sam, the investigator, is talking about how Henry described his daughter, Robin, and he said, so from Henry's perspective, it sounds like Robin was a handful and like she was always telling stories and like always making shit up and just like drove him a little crazy, you know, but he loved her anyways. Like from Robin's perspective, it just sounded completely different. So it's like, like, who do we believe in that? That was like another little like tidbit part where I was kind of like, because then it goes back even to like that hair cutting part that I told you about, where it was said that like Robin said Henry, her dad, cut off her hair, but he said that she cut off her own hair. So it's like, Robin's a psycho. But like, so is Adam. I'm realizing now that I don't think I liked anyone in this fucking story. My favorite character was Bob the dog because he was very unproblematic. I don't like fucking Robin. She's crazy. I don't understand why you needed to like, first of all, why would you want your husband back that cheated on you? Girl. And second of all, why are you gonna do all this like plotting and weird shit to be like, you could have just, this could have been an email. You could have texted Adam and said, hey, so like my dad is the author that you've been obsessed with your whole life. I'm the reason that you got this book. Oh, and then she also find out that she's an author, and so like she's gonna be the one that's like publishing Rock Paper Scissors for Adam. They're gonna do it under her dad's name. They're gonna keep it a secret that he's dead so that they can both like have success through his name. But you can't do that for yourself. I'm confused. So none of your success is your own. It's all your dad's. Got it. So they're weirdos. I guess I would have maybe liked to know a little bit more motive from Amelia's side, because she kind of, I don't know, or maybe I missed it, maybe, I don't know. You let me know if you read it, if I missed her motive. I didn't think I saw one. Hold on, let me do my lip. Did anyone else read this book? What did you think about the characters? Like, I just didn't like any of them. Like, I don't know. PI, I guess, was okay, but he had one chapter. In a way, it's like if you finish a book and you feel this strongly and you still are like, ooh, I don't know if I like these people or these characters, and I have so many opinions, I guess that makes for a good story because it keeps me talking. But that was the end of my book splash and brain rot for the book Rock Paper Scissors by Alice Feeney. If you have read it or listened to it on Audible, let me know what you thought. Let me know if you thought what Amelia's motives were. If I missed her motive, please let me know. Let me know any other book recommendations that you might have for me. Thank you for watching. If you got this far, share with any of your book loving friends, share with any of your makeup loving friends, and subscribe and like it, and leave me a comment. And what's your favorite flavor of Alani?